Megan, I love this time of year, and it's not just for the turkey, it's not just for the giblets, it's because it is Survivor Series season, and of course, the modern addition to the Thanksgiving tradition, War Games. It's here, days away. I mean, can you feel the excitement? This is going to be a big one. Yeah.
It's a massive one. I don't know if we've ever seen two teams as star-studded as we're going to see this Saturday at War Games.
And it could be either match you're talking about, right?
That's right.
All four teams.
That's right.
Like 20 of the top superstars in the world.
We've been fantasy booking this for weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of us in our wildest dreams could have imagined these 20 stars here.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what's so fun about both of these War Games matches, and we'll talk about these War Games matches. We're going to talk about the big singles matches that are on this show, too, as well. Dominic Mysterio is going to be joining us in a little bit. Which, Megan, that was your choice, I believe.
I did not book the guest.
Really? I guess it was just a one-vote scenario then. But what's so amazing about both of these War Games matches is there are so many. You were talking about fantasy booking a minute ago. There are so many different directions both of these matches could go in because there is so much tension, not only between the two teams, but within the teams that exist. Let's talk about this men's War Games match. You talk about star-studded. You talk about an example. For me, this men's War Games match, when you talk about two rings in a steel cage being filled with superstars, and these are superstars that range, I would argue, from 2002 to 2032.
I don't think you need to argue it. I think that's a fact.
Yes. You have stars that have been around and stars that will be around, and just going in to something that's going to be a complete meltdown, right? You've got Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, who have added Logan Paul to their kind of union in the vision. It really seems like Logan Paul is fully on board with the vision.
Which feels right from everything we've seen from Logan Paul and with the Vision's mission statement as being what they believe to be the future of the industry. And Logan Paul believes that he's the future of the industry.
Right.
So why not be a part of the vision? And just every single time I see Logan Paul with Paul Heyman, feels like it should have always been that way.
Yeah, doesn't Logan Paul strike you as the exact type of wrestler that Paul Heyman would glom onto?
Yes.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Immediately.
Yes.
He got how many views? Yeah, let me see if I can talk to Mr. Paul. You know? Logan Paul, Heyman. Hey, there's just too much
I know for
there.
a second I was like, which Paul?
Right.
Mr. Heyman, Mr. Paul.
And listen, what Paul Heyman is doing with Bronson Reed, with Logan Paul, and very specifically with Braun Breaker is what he did in 2002 with a superstar named Brock Lesnar, who burst out onto the scene. And I mean, before 2002 was up, he beat The Rock and became the WWE champion and has not looked back ever since. The idea that Brock Lesnar is realigned with Paul Heyman, is going into a War Games team. Like, it is rare to see Brock Lesnar on a team in general. The idea that he is part of a War Games team and it is a Paul Heyman War Games team is massive.
It is wild when you really think about the egos on this team.
Yeah.
I mean, Logan Paul is not a guy that I would describe as a team player.
Well, I don't know. His music talks about how humble he is.
Yeah, it does.
That's.
I think that might be just a touch of sarcasm there. But
You don't think it's based on a true story? At least based on a true story?
Maybe an imaginary true story.
Okay,
but,
all right.
Brock Lesnar, also not a guy I would describe as a team player.
No, he doesn't play well with others. Paul Heyman has literally described this man as somebody he doesn't like people. That's what he says about Brock. You have to understand, he doesn't like people. I mean, there has to be a game plan so specific for a match like this to make sure that Brock Lesnar doesn't get annoyed, I would think.
There has to be when you're dealing with someone that has what Brock Lesnar has, which I don't know if any other human being walking the face of the earth has what Brock Lesnar has. But it is interesting to me thinking back to when CM Punk was going after the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday Night's Main Event against Jey Uso. This was when Paul Heyman sat down Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and said, listen, you must follow what I say, because back in 2002, there was a superstar by the name of Brock Lesnar,
Right.
and he waited and he followed my plan.
Yep.
And so we've seen this buy-in from Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker to follow what Paul Heyman has told them to do. And one of the examples he gave them was Brock Lesnar. And now they have this example on their team.
in front of them. And then, I mean, you talk about egos. Drew McIntyre has decided to join the team of the guy, just for the night, of the guy who used tricky paperwork to get him out of a suspension. I mean, Paul Heyman just going, and I said, I mean, it was like Veruca Salt at the Wonka factory. I could have anything that I want. And this paper says I can have any superstar from any brand that I want. And then, of course, the suspended Drew McIntyre shows up and Paul Heyman says, you said. And now here's Drew McIntyre on this monster team. But by the way, Drew McIntyre has history with Brock Lesnar. I mean, who knows how that's going to play out?
Yeah, and Drew McIntyre also has just been fierier than we've ever seen him.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw what he did to Cody Rhodes on SmackDown.
Fierier is a wild word.
Fiery.
More fiery?
I think it's fierier.
I trust you.
I think it's fierier. That Northwestern degree right there.
Yeah, there it is.
Fierier. More fired up.
Sure.
More enraged.
He has a mission.
Yes.
And that's what I'm very curious about is like, what is Brock's mission here? You know, it was almost like, is he just like a professional spoiler?
Mhm.
Is he just going in to wreck good times? Like, it seemed like he just showed up to John Cena's retirement tour just to remind people of what he's capable of. It's like, you can all have fun with your John Cena retirement tour, but I'm just going to jump in for a second and destroy him and then dip out.
But the reason I thought maybe he's not dipping out was because just 24 hours before that, he told Paul Heyman we should talk.
Right.
And now Brock has shown that he's here, at least for now, for War Games.
Maybe.
That's what we know.
Maybe he feels a type of way about the way he went out when he left. When he left, he had lost to Roman Reigns. And most recently, as pointed out on SmackDown, he had lost to Cody Rhodes. Both Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns on the other side of the men's War Game match, alongside with CM Punk, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso. Listen, I know they're the quote-unquote good guys, but you talk about egos. Cody, QB1. Roman Reigns, OTC1. CM Punk, the best in the world.
And World Heavyweight Champion.
Jey Uso, main event. But just look at what they call themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Look at what, like, these are the nicknames that they've ascribed to themselves. Main event, QB1, best in the world, OTC1, and Big Brother Jim. Big Brother. All of them asserting themselves as the guy. But they all have to work together against this absolutely destructive team brought together by Paul Heyman.
There's a lot of hatred between CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
Oof.
There's You're in My Way in Life between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes.
Love that too
There's
much.
the cousin dynamic between Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Roman Reigns. I'm, narrowing in specifically on Roman Reigns and Jey Uso in the little Roman comment. And then the brother relationship between Jimmy and Jey, where we thought for so many weeks, are they going to be back together and be a super tag team? Are these guys going to be able to get on the same page and get along? And that relationship has kind of taken a lot of twists and turns as of late. So now to see them on the same team adds another layer as well.
Yeah. And I think you've got Roman, who clearly is sitting there dealing with brothers who maybe haven't fully taken his advice that he put out for them. And don't forget about CM Punk here, right? Yeah. CM Punk is sitting there because I think, we had talked, on Monday about graphics, but graphics matter, and where people are positioned on the graphic matters to these pro wrestlers more than anybody possibly knows in a very real life way. If you don't think professional wrestlers are looking at where they're positioned on these graphics, you got another thing coming. I think that on the Paul Heyman side of things, it's Brock Lesnar. Everybody realizes, if he's going to be on the team, he is going to be front and center. I don't think CM Punk is very happy that Cody Rhodes is the team captain. I don't think
Roman Reigns can't be happy about it.
Can't be. I bet Jey Uso. He doesn't have much of an argument. He doesn't have a championship, but he's probably not thrilled. There was a point in time not that long ago, this year, where he could have argued that he should be front and center on this team. But I think that the underlying tension on the Cody team with Punk and with Roman and with the Usos, I don't see them winning the match. Like, I'll tell you right now, between the amount of tension that exists between everybody on the Cody Rhodes team, the fact that we can't even name whose team it is, the amount of tension that exists over there, and over on the other side, the idea that you have Brock Lesnar staring you down, and people forget. They just think Brock Lesnar's another superstar. He's not. He goes into and destroys people. That's what he does. We had all these creative things that might happen between Brock Lesnar and John Cena. None of them did. Brock shows up, destroys John Cena. This is what happens time and time and time again.
You don't think all of the stars on the good guy team can coexist?
No, absolutely not. I do not think that all of those stars can coexist amongst each other.
There's only one ball.
That's right. All of them consider themselves, and all these nicknames are not accidents.
No.
And they all believe it, and they all should believe it. They 100% all should believe it. But if you ask Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk for sure, I'll bet Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso deep down feel a certain way. Do you think Jimmy Uso thinks that Jey is the team captain of just the two of them, the Uso team?
No.
Right. You think Jey does? Thinks
yes.
that Jey, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Jey thinks he's the captain.
You see what I'm saying?
Of course. Yeah.
So you're already between those two trying to figure out who the team captain is. I think if you ask Roman who the team captain is, if you ask Roman who the top guy in the WWE is,
he would say himself.
How about Cody?
He would say himself.
How about Punk?
He would say himself.
So what are we talking about here? How can you have all these top guys? What happened last year when Roman and Punk were on the same team? They didn't get along at all. And they hated it. The tension between the two is 10 times worse this year.
Especially because CM Punk is the world heavyweight champion.
Exactly right. And they're looking down the barrel at Brock Lesnar. That's what I think. Am I off base?
No, I do think, though, that Cody just has a way of bringing people together. And if there is someone that can find a way to get the team to operate as a unit, it is Cody Rhodes.
It'll be interesting to see. Look, it's not about Cody. I'm not besmirching Cody. I put my ones up for my tribal chief. I've been a CM Punk fan forever. I've been on the just celebrating Jey Uso from all year long. Mm-hmm. I've been advocating for that guy. It's just about, mixing the wrong ingredients together and you accidentally blow up the lab.
It does feel like Brock Lesnar is in a position for everybody else to say yes to him.
Yeah. And you don't think Logan Paul's going to do that? That's what I think that Logan Paul and Paul Heyman relate the most on. Logan Paul's a survivor. Mm-hmm. Paul Heyman's a survivor. Listen, speaking of survivors, we got to talk about a lot at Survivor Series. Dominic Mysterio is about ready to join us. But I want to tell you, as we get closer to this Dominic Mysterio, John Cena match, you can represent your favorite superstar right now going into Survivor Series. Dominic Mysterio just dropped two new tees, including the King of the Luchadors design. You can grab yours now. Oh, look how good these t-shirts look. You can grab yours now at WWE Shop and Fanatics as we get ready for Survivor Series, his clash with John Cena. And speaking of John Cena, this is his final PLE. It's the last one for John Cena. You can go to WWE Shop and Fanatics and check out his Survivor Series collection right now. This is as historic as you get on this farewell tour. He's got the socks, the shirts, the hats, the towels, the everything. San Diego colors, and it really is. It's the last PLE for John Cena. It's the last Survivor Series for John Cena. He walks in the Intercontinental Champion, and he defends against Dominic Mysterio, who I think we are ready to be joined by. Dominic Mysterio is here. Welcome, Dominic. How are you, first of all?
Good. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Sam.
Thank you.
Megan.
Hi, Dom.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's always a pleasure to have you on our show.
That's nice.
Likewise, I always enjoy being here.
That's nice. Dominic,
Oosh.
you are about to have the second to last match with John Cena in John Cena's entire career. When you think about how big this match is, do you feel like John Cena has to be nervous walking in?
I mean, of course.
Right.
He's facing the greatest Mysterio of all time, the greatest AAA Mega Campeón, greatest former, going to be, and new Intercontinental Champion in my hometown in San Diego. I mean, he should be nervous. Last time we were in, like I said, we were in his hometown, Boston. He had Triple H and management on his side, giving him everything he wants, like his whole career. So I'm excited to finally have somewhat of an advantage this time, which is home field advantage.
Is there any part of you that has thought about what a big match this is for you? The fact that there's, while all this is happening, there's 16 of the best superstars in wrestling, not just in WWE, all competing just for the privilege to have John Cena's last match. And the one match before that one is the one that you're walking into. Dominic Mysterio, the person who, let's be honest, years ago, maybe not everybody had all the faith in the world in. Years ago, maybe people didn't see the vision. And now all of a sudden, you're walking into John Cena's second to last match in your hometown at the acceptance of John Cena. When you reflect upon that, when you look at this moment for you, what do you think?
I think I have come a long way. And I'm going to say 5 years in my wrestling debut, 20-year overall career, right? But at the end of the day, this is just another Saturday for me. I've main evented Survivor Series before, so this is just another day in San Diego, California. So I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna have me a California burrito probably from Ortiz's Taco Shop. Maybe even have a midday snack, some In-N-Out burger, maybe some chicken tendies. I might save the tendies for the celebration afterwards. But at the end of the day, like I said, this is just another Saturday for me. John should be thankful that I was willing to make the end of his career meaningful, to give him the opportunity to become a Grand Slam champion. And honestly, I didn't even give him the opportunity; it was handed to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just I'm very, very lucky that I was able to get a rematch because management loves some John Cena.
It's interesting to hear you say it's just a regular Saturday, because I was reflecting back on your 5-year career thinking that this is the biggest match of your career on Saturday.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I've had 4 WrestleManias already, right?
Wow.
This last WrestleMania, I won the IC title.
Oh wow!
Correct.
Yeah.
So I've won the AAA Mega Campeonato. That was a pretty big deal.
That's huge.
NXT North American Championship twice.
Wow.
So
Twice.
I don't know. I would say I would definitely rank this up there. I don't know if it's the most important, but
you hear horror stories from pro wrestlers all the time. There's no part of you that, like, if you walk in to a big match that will no doubt be physical, because we talked to John Cena on Raw Recap, like in Madison Square Garden, and we were talking about the high level of matches that he's having right now. I think a higher level than anybody thought even maybe possible at this stage in his career. And the physicality involved in those matches, you don't think that, sometimes your gear is all white. Walking into a match with a gut full of breakfast burrito and In-N-Out burger, there's no, like, your digestive system is so strong that that's not an issue.
Brother, I am a rock. I am built like I can't I don't know. I'm built like a shit brick house.
Yes.
I nothing phases me. I have an iron stomach. So
Wow.
I'm not even worried about it. I'm ready to walk in, handle business, put the final nail in Cena's coffin, and walk out and new 2-time Intercontinental Champion.
I mean, what do you think of your dad? It feels to me like Rey Mysterio, your dad. First of all, actually, before we get into your dad and what he's doing right now, you were on First Take recently, and I mean, and look, shame on the journalists for not doing their job, but when you pointed out the blatant child abuse that had happened on Monday Night Raw, I don't know that I've ever seen First Take stammering and looking for something to say more so than when you said, I mean, my dad kicked me. That's child abuse. That's not good, is it? They didn't know where to go after that.
You know, Dirty Dom's got to keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, you know, you gotta figure it out. And she saw it. I don't know why she was acting like it wasn't. Like the clip was there of him blatantly kicking me. What am I? His alleged son,
Alleged.
right?
Alleged.
So,
Alleged.
So a deadbeat hitting alleged son, right? What is that? Child abuse, right?
Feels that way. Yeah.
1 + 1 = 2. Correct. Here
Right.
we are. So
Right.
it seemed I don't know. She seemed to be shocked by this. I don't know. She was definitely shooketh by this whole situation.
And I was happy about that. You know, these reporters go into these wrestling interviews thinking it's fun wrestling stuff. It's like we're doing serious stuff here.
That's right.
We're doing serious
Yeah.
stuff, and you're gonna have to deal with the fact that sometimes you're gonna end up shooketh if you ask the tough questions.
And she, you know, I answered it, and she was not prepared.
No.
But she was a witness, firsthand witness. There was millions of people that saw firsthand child abuse that night.
And
So-
cheered for it.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot of
cheered
people
for
cheering
it.
for child
Yeah.
abuse.
And I think
Kinda
Megan
weird.
cheered for it. That's disgusting.
I mean,
See,
I don't know.
this
Do
is-
we classify you as a child now?
Wow.
Well, at the end of the day, Megan, if someone has a baby, right, and that baby happens to grow up, at the end of the day, it's still their child, correct?
That's correct.
As a mother, Megan.
Then what would happen if that alleged father hit alleged son? What would that be?
What
Please
would it
answer
be?
that for me.
Go ahead.
What would it be?
Child abuse.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
would be
there it
child
is.
abuse.
Thank
There it
you.
is.
Yes.
There it is. Do you think John Cena watched your segment on Monday Night Raw where a smaller version of John Cena came out and you I mean you beat him up for a while?
I definitely I hope John saw that Spartan kick to Little John
Yeah.
because he deserved it. You know, we me and Little John had a plan backstage. He did not. He got a little excited out there,
Mhm.
and he went off script, off the plan. So, as the king of the luchadors, I had to put him in his place. Had to let him know who was boss.
I get it. I mean there are documentary scenes of wrestlers watching themselves portrayed as much smaller than they actually are in real life and how disrespectful that is to the core of people. I mean, was there any part of you that when this might be a little too far?
Do you think that was disrespectful? Personally, the way I saw it, I thought, you know, Cena's retirement tour, let me pay homage towards him, right? And everything that he's done.
Oh.
So in that way, I was trying to recreate, you know, one of the greatest, you know, wrestling promos ever, which was when I interrupted him in Madison Square Garden.
Ever.
So greatest
I
of
loved
all
it.
time.
I loved it.
If not, I'll be humble. Top 3. So
Oh, wow.
I thought, you know, let me pay homage to this. I thought Cena would love this, you know? he would love if someone portrayed him. And Cena, you know, being a thespian, he I'm sure he loved that.
Thespians would love stuff like that. And it was not, I mean, we've seen all these like memories of John Cena's career, I'm sure he was waiting, going like, well, why hasn't anybody reenacted one of the greatest
It was
promos
last
I was
week
ever?
because it was last week.
Well, you're welcome. You got to move fast when history
You do.
happens.
You do.
Oh, well, speaking of respect and of John Cena's career, the greatest of all time, is there any part of you that enters this match growing up a lifelong wrestling fan with a little bit of nostalgia, considering that this is one of 2 matches that John Cena has left?
I mean, let's be honest. Your father had a pretty storied rivalry with John early in his career. Eddie Guerrero had that parking lot brawl.
Yeah,
with
the
John's,
parking lot brawl.
Yeah,
I remember that. Well, the one thing I'm going to say to John Cena is he better be ready for Survivor Series this Saturday, because I'm going to rock him so hard he's going to call me Maivia.
That's sick, dude. That's sick. That's
If
so
you know,
sick.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Let me ask you this. Why do you think at a point I was sitting here on the public airwaves and I was saying the way these crowds react to Dominic Mysterio, I mean, they're cheering him. I said they used to not let him talk. Now they cheer him everywhere he goes. Unfortunately, it seems like in the last few weeks, ever since you got involved with John Cena, the WWE audiences are back to not letting you hablar. What do you think the change has been with these WWE fans?
I think at the end of the day, the fans feel sympathetic, right, towards the elderly.
Oh, wow.
So when they see John Cena come out, they're like, "Wow, I can't believe someone was able to check him out of his home and bring him out here safely to the arenas without him, breaking anything or like getting hurt because he's so fragile." So I'm excited for the fans to be able to experience that. So I'm sure they're excited as well. So they every time they see John Cena, they're like, wow, we don't know if this is going to be the last time, because, at 75 years old, at any point in time, he could just,
He's 75?
I don't know. Give it a Googs. I'm not sure.
Well, we'll Goog it later, but I'm going to take your word for it. You are the greatest Mysterio of all time.
I don't lie. I'm not good with numbers, but I don't lie.
I believe you.
He's pretty good at hublaring.
I believe you. No, I mean, when they let him, and it's not you and
does Megan still have to be here for this whole thing?
I don't know. It wasn't my call personally, but
So
I also requested Becky Lynch for this segment, but Sam
I'm sure you did.
me. So.
Becky's probably out looking for Adam Pearce.
That's right.
And she should be.
I don't blame her. If I saw Adam Pearce too, I'd be upset to have to look at his face.
Wow, that's rough. That's rough for Adam. Well, Dominic.
He's rough.
He is. Dominic, I can't wait for Survivor Series. I can't wait to see this happen. I don't think that anybody thought, not only, Dominic, do you get the second to last match with John Cena, you get the last PLE match with John Cena. And I don't think anybody saw it coming that with 4 appearances left, 3 of those 4 would tell the story of a rivalry, and that rivalry is Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena. But if they weren't underestimating you, what would they be doing? Congratulations, Dominic. I can't wait for Saturday.
I can't wait. It can't come soon enough. Sam,
amazing.
I always appreciate you. Megan,
you're the best.
Keep doing you.
Thanks, Dom. Like the neck tattoo.
That's nice.
Thanks.
So thanks to Dominic Mysterio. By the way, last week, I don't know if I told you guys this, WWE announced an exciting collaboration with Topps, Complex, and Bape to celebrate this year's Survivor Series. I am so excited about this. One of the highlights of the collab is a 2025 Topps WWE Bape crossover. It's a new product merging the worlds of streetwear, trading cards, and sports entertainment, showcasing WWE's best and brightest, framed in Bape's iconic camo and reimagined in the signature Baby Milo style. Each box contains 5 premium trading cards and offers a chance at limited edition box variations, striking parallels, and even superstar autos. Boxes will be available on WWE Shop and Complex.com on Friday, November 28th. Fans can also find boxes available on site at Survivor Series this weekend and in Bape stores worldwide starting in December. Very, very exciting. But Megan, speaking of exciting, are you ready? And it's exciting in a different way because, I mean, if you let your mind go emotional, I can't believe this is John Cena's last PLE. I mean, I remember him making that announcement, you know, in 2024 and me going like, oh, I thought I was going to get real sad. We got a whole year of John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
But we have John Cena's last PLE Saturday at Survivor Series. That is crazy.
It hasn't really sunk in, right?
Right.
And I think one of the reasons why is because Cena has continued to make history. I mean, he's walking into Survivor Series as the Intercontinental Champion.
Grand Slam winner.
And now he's going against Dominic Mysterio in his hometown.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so curious to see how the crowd is going to react.
I'll make a prediction. I think John Cena gets cheered walking in. Dominic Mysterio gets booed walking in. But it's just kind of throughout the match, you just hear those dirty, dirty dum, dirty, dirty dum. It's so hard not to do.
I know.
But I can't, I mean, John Cena's first pay-per-view was Vengeance in 2002. He was brand new on the scene, wrestled Chris Jericho, and here we are, decades later, in 2025, where John Cena is the top guy of all times. He is, I would think the undisputed GOAT. You know, I mean, we could have a more serious conversation about that, but I would truly agree that he's the undisputed GOAT. And he goes in, he's got 2 matches left. He's got 1 PLE left, and this is it. Now, let me ask you this question. With your Dominic Mysterio bias put aside for once in your, you know.
Me?
Yeah.
You want me to put my Dominic Mysterio bias aside?
Your anti-Dominic Mysterio bias.
Okay.
Yeah, you've been acting from a place without journalistic integrity for Dominic Mysterio for a long time, and that's okay. It's who you are. But if you could finally put that the Dom hate, I'll just say that, aside for a moment, I believe that there is a chance because there's only 2 matches left. And one of them is against Dominic Mysterio in Dominic Mysterio's hometown with Dominic Mysterio's title on the line. John Cena's been holding it. I'll give him that. He's defined the Intercontinental title for a generation.
For a generation?
At least.
How about Seth Rollins? How about Gunther?
They also held the title. I think Dominic Mysterio has defined the Intercontinental title for a generation. Can you imagine if John Cena loses at Survivor Series, and he very well might, because that's Dominic Mysterio we're talking about, and he doesn't beat whoever wins the tournament, we may have already seen John Cena's last victory in the WWE. That's crazy.
It's very hard to digest, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to digest the fact that this is his last premium live event. It's hard to wrap your head around the fact that we have 2 John Cena matches ever left.
So tough.
And then you add the layer that we might never see John Cena win again.
All I want to do is cheer for John Cena. All I want to do is cheer after a John Cena victory. And John Cena also has taken pride in the fact that he's wrestled every single year since he started, at least one match every single year since he started. I'm not ready for 2026. I don't know if I'm ready for Survivor Series. It's one of those things where you have this Christmas present that somebody put under the tree on the 12th of December. And you've been looking at this present and you know it's something good. And you cannot wait. And it's coming, but it was there early. So it's been a long time. And you've just been thinking about it and thinking about it. And then you wake up Christmas morning and you're like, I don't know if I'm ready to open this. I don't know if I'm ready for this to be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
to be really, the industry changed forever.
That's right.
The industry will be changed forever when John Cena is no longer a part of it.
And I mean, you know, there's 16 WWE superstars competing for the right to have John Cena's final match. This being his second to last match, that is a massive moment. All kidding aside, that is a massive moment for Dominic Mysterio. I mean, this is huge.
I mean, we talk about WrestleMania when he won the Intercontinental Championship. That was a historic moment for Dom.
Okay. He won the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. He wrestled his dad at WrestleMania. He was put in the trusted position of having Logan Paul's first match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
He has had so many moments. Is this the biggest match of Dominic Mysterio's career?
Yes. Yes.
Woo!
I am just curious if Dominic wins, if he is going to once again claim to be the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, because I think he did that maybe 15 seconds after winning it at WrestleMania. We interviewed him.
Right. Well,
And he was already claiming to be the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
but imagine if you beat the GOAT for the Intercontinental title. Then, not only is he the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time,
He might be the GOAT too.
he's also the second greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time because that was the first reign. You see what I'm saying?
So he's
The only thing better than that first reign could potentially be this reign, which is massive. That's a huge, huge step.
that's a big feather in the cap for Team Doms over there like you.
That's right. Nobody's ever taken up both spots like that. And that could be massive. We'll see for Dominic Mysterio. Or is there something to the idea that John Cena retains and defends that Intercontinental title against the winner of the tournament?
He could.
I think a lot of people are looking at that as a wrinkle in that tournament, that not only could somebody beat John Cena, but then also become the Intercontinental Champion and be the Intercontinental Champion that beat John Cena on the way out. That's massive. That's massive. Speaking of massive, the second star-studded War Games match is the women's War Games match. I mean huge. On one side of the double ring is Lash Legend, Nia Jax, Kairi Sane, Asuka, and the man, Becky Lynch. On the other side of that double ring cage is AJ Lee, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Io Sky. I mean, the amount of talent in this match is insane.
There are so many things I want to hit on when we discuss this match. But first, let's talk about AJ Lee.
Okay.
Because AJ Lee makes her return earlier in the year, and there was this huge conversation about, will AJ Lee have any sort of ring rust? What is it going to look like when she actually wrestles? Well, we didn't see any signs of ring rust from AJ Lee at WrestlePalooza, but she's certainly not shying away from any alleged ring rust. Look at the women that she's about to be in the ring with.
Yes.
And think about the time when AJ was in WWE before coming back. This was a time when women would have maybe 7.5, 8-minute matches.
3-minute matches, 90-second matches. I mean, it was crazy for a period of time.
I mean, 7 minutes was a long match for the women's division.
That's a PLE match. I mean, and AJ Lee, and she talked about it on Stephanie McMahon's podcast. AJ Lee led the charge to put women in a higher, to give women the opportunity to put themselves in higher standing in the WWE, to showcase what they could do, and to showcase that fans were paying tickets to see them wrestle matches. And she was proven correct. And I don't think there's any more proof of that than you're right. This match that she's in right now. But it's such a great point, because she's had one match in 10 years, and she's literally locked inside a cage with the best women wrestlers in the world.
I was listening to it on Stephanie McMahon's podcast. She was saying that the last time she was even involved in a cage match was as a manager.
Right.
I mean, to see AJ Lee not only return but participate in War Games, nobody predicted this.
Nobody saw it coming, yet here she is in there with Rhea Ripley, in there with Charlotte Flair. Rhea and Charlotte have the sit down. They're going to supposedly trust each other for the sake of War Games. Alexa Bliss, Io Sky. I'm telling you right now, I want to see arguably the greatest women's wrestler in the world.
Greatest wrestler on the planet.
One of the greatest wrestlers on the planet. with a garbage can on top of her head flying through the sky. It's something I'd like to see. I sometimes think, these wrestling traditions have been around for so long, we've seen them all. We're just going to keep rehashing and rehashing and rehashing. I mean, War Games was created in the 1980s. Yet, here we are in 2025 with a new tradition, which is Io Sky wearing a garbage can on her head flying through the sky. We have to see it. It's just a matter of who is going to receive it.
I'm very excited to see maybe an interaction between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch.
Oh, yeah. Of course, on opposing teams, you would think it has to happen.
I'm very excited to see how Lash Legend fits into the mix of all of this.
And I will tell you, ever since she came up to the main roster, I don't know what Nia Jax whispered in her ear or what it was, but it was like, hey, show everybody how physical you can be. Show everybody how hard you can hit. Show everybody how powerful you are. Because she's been knocking people out since she got here. Just the kicks and the strikes have been so, great, unless you're on the receiving end of them, that I can't imagine when the rules are kind of out the window and she knows people have come expecting to see brutality. Lash Legend is going to show everybody exactly what she's been doing down at the PC.
And someone who's really leveled up, in the past few months has been Kairi Sane for me. I think we've seen a lot out of Kairi Sane. Before hand up, I felt bad for Kairi Sane, right? I felt like she was under Asuka and that Kairi Sane was being sort of controlled by Asuka, because Asuka is the reason that Io Sky and Kairi Sane were able to be here in WWE. But Kairi Sane has showed a totally different side of herself, and she's tapped into that aggression. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like inside a cage.
I want that insane elbow off the top of a cage. I want all kinds of stuff. I want superhuman spectacle out of this War Games match. I think when you look at this team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss and AJ Lee and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, and you look over on the other side and you have people like Lash Legend, and you realize like this is the full evolution of the women's division. This is somebody, like you said, AJ Lee, who was that transitional piece coming out of the Divas era and into the women's wrestling era. Charlotte Flair, who was and Alexa Bliss, both kind of part of that first class of NXT. Asuka, who wasn't too far behind. Rhea Ripley, who's more recent. It wasn't that long ago, right? It was WrestleMania 36 when Rhea Ripley was in there with Charlotte Flair. Rhea Ripley as the new superstar from NXT with all the potential in the world. And Charlotte Flair as that established veteran going one-on-one, and now they're on the same team in War Games. I think this is also two people that I want to see remind people of what brought them to the dance to begin with in this match. Rhea Ripley, I think, is going to remind everybody that her rightful place is the top of the division, because she has to. And I think Asuka is going to remind people of how utterly dominant she has the power to be, of who she was when she, held that NXT Women's Championship and nobody could get it off of her body. I think Asuka is going to break people in this match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of different things as well, and I just have to point out the fact you gave everyone a little rub there, everybody a little shine. You forgot to point out the fact that there is only one WrestleMania main eventer in this match.
Charlotte Flair main evented WrestleMania.
The first woman to ever main event WrestleMania.
Flair was in the match with her.
Well,
Charlotte Flair was in the same main event.
Well, you haven't brought up Becky Lynch's name, and I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, maybe I was saving the best for last.
Okay, I hope so.
But we already talked about AJ Lee, so we will talk about Becky Lynch.
Oh my God.
I'm just teasing. Maybe. Becky Lynch, yes. Becky Lynch entering and I'll tell you, okay, I'll say this about Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch entering this War Games match with nothing to lose. Becky Lynch entering into this War Games match with something to prove. Becky with a chip on her shoulder, Becky angry at the world. Everything that she's left on Adam Pearce's voicemail, in my app mentions, Becky can let it all out. All this tension, all this stress, she can let it all out in this War Games match. Yes, I am very much looking forward to seeing what this version of Becky Lynch does in a War Games match. Because Becky, again, I mean, whether you're talking about Asuka reminding everybody of her just sheer and utter dominance. Mm-hmm. What about just the fact that the irresistible force Nia Jax is sitting here in this cage? What are you going to do when Nia Jax comes to attack you? But with Asuka, with Rhea Ripley, with Charlotte Flair, with all these people, Io Sky staking their claim to be the top female in the division, the top female, maybe the top wrestler overall in the company. This is one of the first times since Becky Lynch came back at WrestleMania that she's had the opportunity to get in there with the entire division and restake her claim as the man.
That's 100% true. And I didn't even think about that until right now, because since Becky Lynch returned, she had her feud with Lyra. She lost her championship to Maxine Dupree.
Yes, she absolutely did. Fair and square.
That is to be debated. But now Becky Lynch back in the mix. She hasn't been here in over a year, right?
In War Games.
Yes.
In this conversation.
In this conversation is what I'm talking about. In over a year.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Yes. And she goes like, yeah, this is and is this the most dangerous version of Becky Lynch? We find out at War Games. And I'm sure that everybody in that War Games match will be looking at one match in specific, and that's Stephanie Vaquer, as Naomi once said, versus Nikki Bella. Stephanie Vaquer defending the Women's World Championship against Nikki Bella. And I mean, listen, everything that we just said about Becky Lynch, everything we said about a lot of people, Nikki Bella has one thing to do at Survivor Series. Prove people wrong.
Yeah.
Prove haters wrong. Prove to people that she is still that force in the women's division. Prove to people what she still has left in the tank. Prove to people that she is not just here to be a mentor, but she is still fully capable of seizing this division, and she's got the opportunity to do it.
I'm really excited to see this side of Nikki Bella as well, because as fun as it was for Nikki Bella to come back and us all to cheer and celebrate the fact that she's back in the women's division, a Hall of Famer is in the locker room, I like this dark side to her. I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I came here to win championships. I've made history, but I'm not done making history yet. But at the same time, Stephanie Vaquer has been living out her dream in front of our eyes. We've interviewed her. She's been emotional at times. I'd like to see her get a little bit more aggressive and a little, as happy as she is to be at the top, a little bit more fiery.
Listen, I don't think there is anything. I think she's aggressive in the ring.
Yes.
Stephanie Vaquer.
Yes.
I think that, if there is any part of her that enters that ring with any sort of like...
happy to be there.
That's right. Nikki Bella is going to be able to take full advantage of it. Mm-hmm. I think that that's right. But no, I think that for me, the story of that dream is the dream, because I think the most valuable parts of those conversations that we've had with Stephanie Vaquer is every time I brought up or you've brought up the idea that she's quote unquote new to the WWE roster, she reasserts herself being like, I'm not new. 15 years I'm deep in this game. I am not new. This isn't some newbie taking on a legend. This is somebody who has had to work maybe harder than just about anybody else and prove that she deserves the position that she's in to get into the position that she's in. And that's why nobody disputes the idea that she should have the world championship this early. Nobody. It's not a conversation. And I think that, if anything, the conversation that offends Nikki Bella is there is a conversation about whether she still is that person that gets the championship. And I think that's what gets under Nikki Bella's skin. And I think that's what bothers her about this whole thing. And I think that is essentially the chip on Nikki Bella's shoulder.
It is such an interesting spot for Stephanie, though, because she is someone who said Nikki Bella was one of her heroes.
Sure.
And then to have one of your heroes turn their back on you in the way that Nikki Bella did as well.
I think Nikki Bella's probably somewhat insulted by that. Like, she's not, it's what you said. Yeah, she's made history. Look, just because Nikki Bella has made history doesn't mean she is history. You see what I'm saying? You like that?
I did like that.
That was a fun one. I was pretty happy about that myself. But I think that's the whole thing. Don't tell me I was your hero. What's with the past tense running around here? I still am your hero. Watch me go right now. I should still be your hero. I think that's the attitude. I hope that's the attitude that Nikki Bella has. I'm your hero today, not your hero coming up, and now you've graduated from that. Because I'm still like you. I may have been able to help mold you into everything that you know, but you don't know everything that I know.
There are so many women in that locker room that said, I wanted to be a WWE superstar because of Nikki Bella. And Nikki Bella should be going to this match thinking, I still want people to say that 10 years from now.
That's right. That's right. I can't wait. Megan, this show is loaded from both War Games matches to the Women's World title to John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio one last time for John Cena on a PLE as the Intercontinental Champion. It is going to be huge. Survivor Series this Saturday. I can't wait. We'll be back here to recap Survivor Series after it all goes down. So make sure you're subscribed on your podcast feeds. Make sure you're hitting like and leaving comments on YouTube. And we will see you late night on Saturday after Survivor Series for the recap.